What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. Hope everybody's surviving this heat wave, at least in the LA area. I don't know how hot it is wherever the rest of our viewers are at, but this is a movie that it's one of those movies that when you know the director's making it and the quality that their filmography has, it's like you're going to be excited regardless of how it comes out. And this movie is no exception, where Chris Nolan, easily one of the best directors of, the last few generations. Oh man, this was one I was eagerly expecting, especially after his big hit Oppenheimer, which is already 3 years old. And we're talking about one of the more well-known Greek stories in mythology, which is the Odyssey. And this cast is completely I think this is one of the most stacked casts I've ever seen in a movie, with Matt Damon, Elliot Page, Lupita Nyong'o, John Bernthal, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, so on and so forth. And this is, of course, about the classic story of Odysseus' journey from Troy all the way going back to Ithaca, and the obstacles and creatures he encounters on the way home. This is a spoiler-free review because, of course, we don't want to ruin it for y'all, and I do say this here and there, but this is definitely one of those movies, very much like Project Hail Mary, that you have to experience in theaters at least one time, because it is 2 hours and 52 minutes, so brace yourself if you're not great with time. But if you happen to like the movie, like tuning into our channel and our thoughts, feel free to show us your support by giving us hitting that like button. Just give us a thumbs up. It's always nice to feel that encouragement. And of course, ring the bell for notifications and stay up to date. And subscribe just to join our ranting community, because we appreciate you all for listening and watching us. So thank you. And yeah, like I said, Chris Nolan is easily one of my favorite directors, even though I have my little nitpicks with like maybe casting decisions or how he went about certain movies. Like the weirdest one for me is still Tenet. Like, it's entertaining, but I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what was the point of this movie? But Byrne has reminded me, like, even he didn't know what the point of was. You're just supposed to watch it. I'm like, okay, that's good enough for me.
Exactly. If the director says, you're just supposed to feel it. It's like, all right, then I'm not going to try to dig any deeper into this confusing movie. but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing on screen.
But I'm like, what am I supposed to feel? What am I supposed to think? This makes no sense. But it's fine. No, you're right, though. And yeah, it's funny, like, Oppenheimer was one of my favorite movies that he's done, just because it was so well done. I think that's also one that Cillian Murphy did get the award for. I don't remember, but that was definitely one of those movies, like, he deserves it if he doesn't get it. And this one, I think this is going to be an awards contender for sure, whether it's the cast getting nominations or just the sheer production. This is one of the most beautiful movies I've seen in a long time. Like, man, especially in IMAX. Like, I know I'm not that we're promoted by IMAX or anything, but this is one of those movies, and Chris Nolan does film a good portion of his stuff in IMAX. You have to go experience it. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's so worth it. But, oh man, I can't praise this movie enough. Byrne, do you share the praises with me, or do you? What was on your mind when you watched this, and after the movie, what did you think?
So, when the credits rolled and the lights came up, and we watched this movie together. We went to the IMAX together, and you turned over to me and you asked me, "What did you think?" I didn't really have any answer at that moment, just because, not to say that the movie was bad or anything. It was just, this movie is an epic in every sense of the word. Where I just needed a few minutes to just collect my thoughts after this 3 hours, and like just digest everything that I had just experienced, because it truly is one of those like things where it's like, you don't get movies like this often. Like, probably like rarely. Like, even like if looking back into old epics, we don't get movies like this anymore. And this, it just truly felt like very like an incredible experience that I just needed. I needed a little bit of moment to connect my thoughts, and now ruminating it over a day. I think just the feeling of overwhelmed and the feeling of just like having experienced something that feels like truly like masterfully created, it just remains there from the minute that the movie ended. I think like you said, when you see like the people that are behind this, when you get a Christopher Nolan and as the director writer, when you get a Hoyt van Hoytema as a cinematographer, Ludwig Göransson as the composer, and all the heads of department that he's worked with, with in his last few movies, and the incredible cast that he's assembled here. It's hard not to just be in awe of what you saw on screen. I had a tremendous time with this movie. I think this is like you. I think this is one of like the best movies I've just like seen put together. Just like in terms of a technical aspect. Just for everything from the locations to just the way that he films this story. It's truly a master at work, and there's really no other way to say it. I think the way that he's adapted this story that people are very familiar with, at this point, either like you're vaguely familiar or you've read the text for school at some point. This is a story that like people have at least a little bit of a knowledge of, and the way that he adapts it and he sort of makes it his own and gives his sort of like lens on it, I thought was absolutely fantastic. This does feel very much thematically like a companion piece to Oppenheimer and all the things that it sort of ruminates on in terms of like war and in terms of the effects of it and then like how you feel after it. This movie is grand in scope. It's the biggest movie he's done, but it also feels like the most intimate at the same time. Where we get this sweeping adventure, but we're so locked in on these characters and their emotions and their relationships and of course Odysseus and his journey, that it ties that balance really well of feeling like simultaneously big but very small at the same time. So just everything that went into this movie, I just can't praise enough. Just because, man, this truly was a special experience, and like you, I couldn't recommend it enough to go check this out in IMAX, because that feels like truly the best way and almost the only way to see it. Not to say that people who don't see it are getting a lesser experience, but man, just when you see the images on the screen, that coupled with the sound and just like the experience of it all, it feels otherworldly. Like, it's just a truly great great experience from beginning to end.
Yeah, it was. We both had that kind of same like I knew I liked it, but it was just like, man, this is a lot to take in and process, just because it is an epic story on its own, but then seeing the production come together, the cast behind it, the costume design, and the fact that this was majority of it was all practical effects, it really is mind-blowing like how much work went into this. And we don't see a lot of like movies practically made anymore, unless it's like a smaller indie film like maybe Obsession or stuff like that. So I think that's one of the things I appreciate the most, that Nolan was definitely like a true cinematic master going into this, a cinemaphile. He's like one of us. Like, no, I want to see something not completely CGI. I want audiences to experience this as if you were there around that time. And yeah, like I said, I think even the cast was amazing. Like some of the standouts for me were John Leguizamo, just because he's one of my paisas, my Colombiano, and it was great seeing his character. I think this is one of his strongest roles. And Elliot Page, this is the first thing I've seen him in a long time. I think the last thing I saw him in was The Umbrella Academy, when he was as Ellen Page. So it was great. His character had, contrary to online nonsense and whatnot, no, he is not Achilles. But his character is still very important and pivotal to this. And actually probably one of the biggest emotional anchors of this entire story for Matt Damon's character. And as always, and everyone else, of course, delivers a class performance. No matter how big or small role that they had in this movie, it was all impactful. It all just came together so well. And I can't praise this movie enough. Is it the best movie of all time? Not necessarily. However, this is one of the biggest movies of all time that I think everyone should experience. And I mean, this is definitely my top 10. Where it's going to be in my top 10 by the end of the year, I don't know. But with everything being said, even though the runtime at some points did feel a little bit like, I checked my watch a couple times in the theater just to be like, okay, where are we at with this right now? Not in a bad way. It was just like, man, there's so much going on. I just want to see where we're at in this. I got to give this movie a hard 5 out of 5. I feel like if I give it a 4 or anything less, it's a bit of an injustice to it. But not to say, Burn, if you don't think it's 5 out of 5, totally fine. It's just for me, I was like, I gotta praise this one. This is so good. I'm actually gonna take my family again to go see it. So, and I could already hear some voices in my head, like from the past, saying like, "You're gonna waste 6 hours of your life watching this." I'm like, yes, I will, because that's amazing. So, yeah, 5 out of 5. Highly recommended for IMAX, which I think Byrne did tell me after the movie it's gonna be IMAX for the next month or so. So. You all have time. Definitely. I know AMC does have a thing where it's like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's half off tickets. So if you do want to see IMAX and save some money, check it out on Tuesday or Wednesday if you can.
Yeah. Either way, it's one of those things where you, like you said, you have to go see this in the theater. For all the reasons that we mentioned. Just because, yeah, this is truly one of those blockbusters that only someone like Nolan could make nowadays. Probably even like Denis Villeneuve could like make something like this. But in terms of the blockbuster movies that we get nowadays, this is something that's just, a rarity in that sense, where you get this level of production, like you mentioned, all the practical effects and just like all the creatives involved here all feel like they're all at the top of the line. So this is truly like sort of like the best people doing their best work, and that's something that needs to be seen on the biggest screen that you possibly can see it in. Yeah, I mean, I think the praise can be distributed to basically everyone here, but I just wanted to shout out, like a lot of the side players, because they were the ones that I were most blown away by, because look, I know Matt Damon is going to give a great performance. I know Anne Hathaway is going to give a great performance, but someone like John Leguizamo or Samantha Morton, or I mean I know Robert Pattinson is one to like sing praises to as well. But it's just like all these characters are just done so well by these actors, and they all fit so thematically with what the story's telling you. I think just to like have all these players around, you feel like, oh, you could probably like get lost in it easily, right? But they all serve such a great purpose in leading towards the central theme and informing the journey of Odysseus. That is just so well done that I was completely blown away by it. I had mentioned to you that this is a 3-hour movie. This does feel its length, and especially so in the first act for me. But all the breadcrumbs that it lays in that first act is paid off so well in the third act that I think this is probably one of my favorite, if not, I think the best of Christopher Nolan's movies in terms of the third act. It just that last hour of this movie, I was just so locked into it, where I was like, I couldn't wait. I mean, I knew how the story ends, but I just wanted to see this version of this story, Nolan's like telling of this story, despite again knowing what was going to happen. Just to see it play out through his lens, I was just so excited for it. So, yeah, man, I can't sing the praises of this movie enough. Like you, I think this is going to be an Oscars favorite, and I think it's going to be in one of my favorite movies at the end of the year, and I'd be surprised if it wasn't in the top 5. So, for me, this one's going to be a strong 5 out of 5. This is one I can just easily recommend to anybody, because it's just truly such a special experience that I think everyone should go check out if they can.
Good, Bern. I hope you didn't feel obligated to do the 5 out of 5 just because I said what I said.
Oh no! I will not change my ratings for anybody. But I can't lie. I think this movie is absolutely great, and I think Christopher Nolan yet again delivered, and I think people should go check this out.
100%.
I think even though I told you that I don't know if I want to see this again, I think I do, because I think I just want to be able to like watch this movie on the biggest screen possible while I still can before it leaves the theaters.
Honestly, this is definitely one of those movies too. Even though I'll see it again, if it does go back into theaters, like as a maybe during the holiday season for Oscars or something like that, I would do it too, because again, like Sinners, Project Hail Mary, this is one of the strongest films of the decade so far. And again, if you miss out on an IMAX, it's a shame, but you can still enjoy it at home because it's definitely worth it. But yeah, 5 out of 5 for both me and Byrne. We highly recommend it. Rewatchability, completely up to preference, because again, almost 3 hours. Brace yourself for that. Definitely don't drink a lot of liquids, I will say, for the movie, because It is long, so you got to pick your poison when you can. But
It's long and it's an intense 3 hours. It's a heavy movie, and there's some even like horror elements in there too, which I absolutely love. So this is a journey of a movie, and you feel it, but by the end of it, it's well worth it.
100%. And when you were talking about Robert Pattinson, I was like, he's one of those villains that, oh my god, he's such a smug d-bag. You can't stand him, but that's how you know he's a great actor, because he makes you hate him. But yeah, like I said, 5 out of 5, both me and Byrne. Highly recommend it. Check out an IMAX. We still got some summer movies coming out, especially Spider-Man the next couple weeks. So stay tuned for those reviews coming out. And as always, everyone, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.